Broke there for a moment. Hopefully you can still, oh, it looks like I froze. Oh, I'm back. Okay, good. Yeah, so then once it was all joined up, I was able to do the raglan seam lines up, and then the hood is then knitted on seamlessly as well. So the only seam on this whole thing is at the top of the hood. You need to do one small seam to join the top of the hood together, because you knit the hood in one piece up, and then you cast it off flat as a rectangle and fold it in half and sew it. Oh yeah, so we did drop. Sorry, Woban. Yeah, my internet connection here, we're working on it. It isn't great, so hopefully it's not too difficult for you to follow along. But anyway, that's the digger jumper that I showed you last week. And I'm really looking forward to finishing that and sending it off to America. And hopefully my cousin's little son will get to wear it this winter, maybe a little bit, and definitely next year. Because I knitted like this, the size for the like 2-year-old, I think. But blocking's going to make this look so much nicer too, because like it's not bad, but you can see it's a bit wrinkly through the body, and if I hold it up to, to the light and look through it, I can tell that my stitches aren't super even. Blocking covers up a multitude of sins, giving it a nice. You can actually, with 100% wool, you can actually press it. I would advise you not to put your iron directly on it. What I normally do if I need to press wool is I'll get like a dish towel or a tea towel, a clean one, wet it, either soak it and wring it out, or that's generally what I do, or you can use a spray bottle of water. Put that on top of the knitting, and then you put your iron down on that, and you get a whole bunch of steam, and it's just going to like set those stitches, and it's going to make them look so nice. So that's one thing you can do. Blocking, yeah, Woban says blocking absolves so many sins. It really does. And anything you're giving as a gift, anything you are you're entering into a show, you want to block. And so we talked a little bit about, like, there are special blocking mats. There are places that will sell you blocking mats, but those interlocking foam tiles you get at the camping store to sleep on, or they make them to put in kids' rooms, with the alphabet printed on them. Those are actually good. If you see them on sale, get them. I have a set back in Australia. I didn't bother to bring them here, but they're each probably half a meter square, and they've got the sort of teeth where they join together. And so you can make whatever sort of shape or size you need, and then pin onto them. But you can also do it, a lot of people do a block on their bed. So, just make your bed, and then, if the garment, depending on how wet it is, you might want to put down a towel on top or something like that. Also, if you're knitting like a giant lace shawl, that might be your only option to get a surface big enough to pin on, is to do it on your bed. But the process for blocking is pretty much always wet it, stretch it, or manipulate it into the shape you need, and then pin it until it dries. And so, as we talked last week about using pins that don't rust, I have these special pins called T-pins that are just, instead of like sewing pins with the little glass balls, T-pins have sort of a bigger head on them. They're easier to get in and out. They're also, I've seen you can buy now these sort of plastic comb things that have multiple pins, so you can sort of, pin out an entire edge, which is great for doing something that needs to kind of have a straight edge along it. Another thing you can do is thread some scrap yarn along the edge of whatever it is, and then pin that, because that's going to sort of stretch the whole edge out, as opposed to, if you're just putting pins, you can kind of get like a scallop effect. The blocking combs, yes, that's what they're called. Woban says blocking combs are excellent and relatively inexpensive. Yeah, I think they're a fairly new thing. Like, I've only seen them in the last few years, but they're very good. There's also blocking wires, which you can buy in some specialty knitting shops, or you can actually just buy wire. You want to get, as I said, something that isn't going to rust. But the idea is, like, for a big round shawl or something with a curve on it, or something where you have a straight edge, instead of putting wool through the edge, which would, wool does stretch, you actually can thread a wire along the edge of the item and then pin that out, and the wire will hold the whole edge perfectly straight until it dries. Someone told me welding rods. I've heard of that, but I'm not sure if they're good or not. I should look up a little bit on this. Maybe I'll get Donna on here sometime to talk about blocking, because she's very good at blocking. But blocking is a perennial topic that people want to care about. Oh, hang on. I do have one. I did bring one blocking tool I can show you that I brought. These are sock blockers. Sock blockers. Sock blockers, if you knit socks, which socks are super fun, and you want to know, like when you knit a sock on the needle, it doesn't look great. It's sort of like scrunched up, and it doesn't look super attractive. Get some sock blockers, and of course they come in adult or children's sizes. Once you wash that sock and you put it on here to dry, it's going to come off looking so professional and gorgeous. And so if you want to know why like some of the socks on Ravelry look so nice, it's because they've been blocked on sock blockers. I bought these online many years ago. You can make your own. I think Rod and I had a go at that actually with some plywood, but it's hard to get a nice smooth edge that isn't going to catch on the wool. But if you just look up sock blockers, again, pro tip, great gift for Christmas for a knitter. If it's someone you know who knits socks, get them a set of sock blockers, because great for the gram, for the Instagram, to have a really nice photo of your knitted socks on sock blockers. But that is one specialty blocking implement that I bought. I went through a bit of a sock phase many years ago where I knitted a lot of socks, and I took the photos for all of them. If you look at my Ravelry photos, all the sock photos are taken on those sock blockers because it looks a lot nicer. I hate sock photos on feet. Ugh. Yeah, always put them on sock blockers. Okay. Well, how long have we gone? Oh my gosh, it's because the stream restarted, didn't it? Ugh, I hate that. Yeah, I need a better, okay, we've been going for nearly an hour, I can see in OBS. Actually, I'm going to do a blog post, by the way, about my setup here, so that you can all see how I'm doing this in case anyone else wants to stream. I thought I would do a little blog post about how I'm doing it, just because I know other people are curious and I can tell you what equipment I'm using. So I'll write a blog post this week about that so you can see. But I'm using some software called OBS to actually do the actual streaming. But I think I will probably, whoops, dropped a stitch. Look at that. There we go. Only dropped it one. So we'll fix it. Look, after last week where the needle tip came off, we can do anything, right? Right. So single little drop stitch, no sweat. And I will call that this morning's stream and leave you all there. As always, I have aspirations to stream again tonight, in like 10 hours for the Americans as they wake up, and for the Aussies as they get up. No, the Americans, it'll be their afternoon. For the Aussies, it'll be their morning. Whether or not I actually do that, I'm planning to make a gingerbread house today. So it depends on how I go with my gingerbread house. But I may stream again later tonight, Europe time. So I will tweet if that's the case, or you can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe on Twitch. God, I'm still such a new streamer. If you subscribe on Twitch, if you follow me on Twitch, you will get an email when I go live. It's only 9:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time. Yes, I know, Oben. But so if I stream again, it's at 9 o'clock Europe time, which is in 9.5 hours. People will be getting up early in the morning, getting the kids off to school in Australia, except I don't know if they are going back to school. But yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Margaret. Thank you for all the comments, Welben. It was great to have you on there. But yeah, if you subscribe to me on Twitch, you'll get notified if and when I go. I'm trying to do at least once a week, if not twice on Sundays. who knows, over Christmas, I have nothing else to do. Maybe I will get in some more days of streaming. So if you send me a message on Twitter if you want have something you want me to talk about in particular. Otherwise, I will see you all maybe in 9.5 hours, maybe in a week at the worst. All right? Have a lovely week. Have a lovely Christmas if I don't see you. Have a lovely whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating. Please be safe. It really sucks seeing what's happening back in Sydney. I hope you're safe and you stay home and you keep well. All right. Bye, everyone.